We got there in the end. How we doing, MCM? Sorry running a bit late. Usually I'll talk and introduce myself, but I don't care. We want to get the guests out, don't we? Are there any Uncharted fans in the house? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with lots of noise your Uncharted guests! Grab a seat. Who's got the short straw? Come on, Richard, you can sit next to me if you want. Yeah, you sit with me. I'm starting to think I smell. They ran away.
They put Richard over there.
Everyone wave to the camera. It's here. She was holding it up. Too late. You missed your chance. Maybe next time. Come back next year.
Oh, I might. Is this for my one shot? Hi.
Nolan, you look great.
I do look great.
You look dapper.
I feel great.
Yes,
I have to pee.
of course. All the time.
It's with age, isn't it, Nolan?
It is. But it's all right. It just comes with age.
No, I'm glad you're all back. You've all been to MCM before, so many years. Nolan, I'm sick of now, but you guys, I think it's only once or twice before for you guys.
Microphone.
Wait there. Go on, take mine.
I've been a few times before, I think. I think I'm at 3, maybe, potentially. I can't remember.
I got a flat here.
You got a what?
I got a flat. Just that's an apartment.
Oh, I thought you meant you had a flat tire.
Can you
I
hear
was
me
very
now?
confused.
Have a shot.
Get it
Sit-
now.
Go on, go for it.
Hear me now? Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was here in 2016 with Nolan.
Yes.
This is the first time that all three of us have been together at one of these.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Now,
Oh, that's right. It is. This is all three of us the first time?
Yes. For the
Yeah.
first time in
Oh.
forever.
Well, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Because why?
oh well, let me.
Oh, sorry.
I was doing a bit of maths the other day, so let me read this out. Uncharted is 17 years old.
Woohoo!
Uncharted 2 celebrated its 15th birthday 2 weeks ago, 15th anniversary. Uncharted 3 was 13 years ago, and Uncharted 4 was 8 years ago. And here's some interesting facts. With 30 million copies of the games being sold in total. 30 million between the four.
Wow.
Wow.
15 just for Uncharted 4.
Can I have that card when you're done? That's
sure.
kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
I was up the other night thinking, how can I impress them and make it sound like I'm smart with maths?
Wow, that's
Well played.
pretty good. So Sony made some money off this.
Yeah. How much did you get?
Not as much as Sony made. In fact, I think Uncharted, the first one, I paid them. So subtract the 6, not as much.
About 50 quid.
Man
But you
math.
know what? We get to come here, and Sony just somewhere enjoying their money.
Yes.
So,
Buy lots of autographs and photographs. Nolan needs it.
yes. Or don't.
So, which leads to my first question. Obviously, so many years ago, the first game came out. Did you ever think you'd have 4 games, spin-offs, that amount of copies sold, and then ending up here with us 17 years later?
No.
Okay, next question.
No, I was saying today at the table again, and pardon me if some of you have heard it, but some of you may have not, but I was straight out of acting school and going to an audition to learn how to audition, essentially, when I got this job. So I don't think at any point I thought it would be great if I got to have a real job and get to be in a video game in terms of vocal work or voice work, but I had absolutely no clue that we were on the forefront of amazing game technology and that it would turn into all of you beautiful people 15, 18 years later.
Well, if you think about it, the game came out 17 years ago, but the actual making of the game would be closer to 20, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It was about.
It was 2007 for me,
Yeah,
2006.
I think it was 6.
Well, it was 2006 when we auditioned. Did it release in 2007?
It
I should know
released-
this. Guys,
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was about. Yeah, it was about.
I graduated in
2-year
2006.
Yeah.
It was well, it would have been.
We're
it would have
such
been.
old
It would have
people.
been 2006, but early 2000. It was about a 2-year process.
Yeah.
To do the first game, all of them. It's about 2 years, and yeah, there's no such thing as Uncharted 1. So it's Drake's Fortune, and then you get the 2. And I remember getting the call that we're going to do a second one, and then during the second one, they started talking about the third. So we were kind of like, this is getting better and better. So, and then we did the Golden Abyss, the Vita one, while we were doing the third game. So that was a full couple years we were full on. I mean, we called each other Nate and Sully. Nate and, sorry, you weren't in that one.
You know what? It's a little.
Don't
bit
worry,
of a sore
nobody
subject.
played.
That's why it's
Okay,
the worst
I mean,
game.
Yeah,
I was
nobody
just
played that
shooting
one.
at a show at the time. It's not a problem.
Yeah, she was doing a big TV show.
She was a big star then.
No, it was a fun time of life to be shooting something in Nova Scotia part of the year and then come back to Los Angeles and get to film this. It was really fun.
And because you've mentioned the audition process, what was it like for you guys auditioning for this game? It's a brand new IP, an amazing company that made it. Is that what kind of convinced you to go for it and trust them with this vision? Because there was nothing like Uncharted before. The set pieces within the game were just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And obviously you had to do the mocap.
The audition part, Richard has my favorite story because we had a similar experience, but tell him about that audition at that, was it?
I went to
Burbank.
It was in Burbank. It was in some studio that was in a building that they had built to look like a castle. And I went in, and Gordon Hunt was the director, and I'd worked with him before, and he said, "Come on in, Richard," and we went into a studio, and he said, "You're going to start here, and then you'll move over." And I said, whoa. This is a game, right? All the games that I'd done before, you went into a booth by yourself and did the lines. And he said, "Yeah, motion capture." Motion what? Motion capture. I haven't a clue what you're talking about. So he told me about what the whole process was, and I went, okay. And when I walked out of there, I had been thrown so much by that, I called my agent and I said, "Well, forget that one. I really screwed up." And she said, "No, don't worry about it." And then about a month or two later, she called and said, "Well, you got it." I got what? I know, I sound like an old man who can't remember. What's your name again?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, anyway, that was my introduction to motion.
I had the same thing. It was I think it was Technicolor. It was the.
It was
and
Technicolor.
I remember I walked in and I got the sides and everybody was. It's a booth that's probably about 8 by 8, and typically what they do in an audition, you go in, they're behind the glass in another room. Okay, try these lines, and you do it, and then you thank you so much, and you leave. They all were in this little box with me, and they said, "Okay, whenever you're ready," and I went, "Are you gonna stay in here with me?" I had the same thing, and that's when they started talking motion capture, and I had actually heard of it, but even in that little space, there was nowhere for, Nate jumps and tumbles. I'm like, not gonna do that in the corner of this room, so. It was, I don't know why we got cast.
Well, so
we
then.
were just the confusion.
So then, though, what they're talking about is this little tiny booth. I had never auditioned before. I look at this girl on the sheet, and I'm like, she looks like me. I feel like I know this chick. I did the same thing. I totally bombed the audition. Gordon Hunt calls me. He's like, "We're going to go another direction." I'm like, "Of course you are. I sucked. That was awful." He said, "But Emily, because you're straight out of school, I would love it if you could come and read across from the other actors coming in." So when they got it together in a lot of ways and they moved the audition to a much bigger room where everybody could move around, I had the opportunity to read across from all of the Nates coming in. And when we read together, it was just magical.
Magic.
And so at the end of the day of auditioning, they actually asked me, they said, "Hey, Emily, do you want to read for this?" And I was like, I've been, you want to see, I get to go again? They're like, "Yeah." And so I went outside, I worked on a little bit, and I came back in and read it and got the part, which they told me later. But here's the crazy part, y'all. Okay, this is crazy. And I've said this before, but my Volkswagen Jetta at the time. Yes, my Volkswagen Jetta. I was driving around Los Angeles, had a license plate frame on the outside that I just thought was kind of cute. Do you know where I bought that Jetta from? I bought it from an artist who worked at a company that I had never heard of called Naughty Dog. So probably about a year prior, off of Craigslist in Los Angeles, I had bought my car at the Santa Monica building from a guy who worked on this game called Crash Bandicoot. And I was driving around Los Angeles with a Naughty Dog license plate frame because I thought it was funny. And sure enough, soon enough, I ended up working for the company, and they've brought me here to you today.
There's a round of applause. Do you feel the motion capture aspects actually help with your performance? Because there wasn't many games that had done that previously, and I think it helped, no doubt, help with your performance and help with us to love these characters, and it's actually you being the character rather than just your voice and the emotions that you're trying to put across. How did you, I know you didn't know about it at first, how did you feel once you first started doing it?
It was great because it was like being on stage or on the movie set or TV set. Actually, most like being on stage because it was, wow, my ear just popped from my flight. So I can hear again. The imagination, you had to be just like a kid again. You had to imagine everything you were doing. You had to imagine what you were wearing, what they were wearing, where we were, we would have these artifacts that Nate would discover, and he'd hand it to me, and one of them was this incredibly ornate gold dial thing that you push something and all this stuff went on, and what we had was a roll of gaffer tape. So he would come to me with a roll of gaffer tape and say, look at this. And I'd go, oh my God, how did they make this? These are a primitive culture. We couldn't do that today. Gaffer tape? But that was the great thing about it, was you got to use your imagination so much that more than anything else I've ever done. Yeah.
And there's also cameras, you know, you're in what's called a volume, so cameras are all around you. So different from film and TV, where they're shooting your coverage, and maybe they might, you know, shoot your close-up or shoot the wide. You're kind of gauging how much energy you're using at different takes and different things. But with the video game, you are just like theater. You're on all the time because it's picking up everything all the time.
I wasn't aware they were recording, but they gave me a bunch of coffee and just said, go.
Yeah, we would just smack them and be like,
But
go, go.
I do remember just fun. There was so many fun things that you learned together, you know, because it was so new to all of us. But anytime you see Nate take out a map, it was a piece of felt cloth because you couldn't have the noise. If you ever see Nate, all right, I think that's the end of them, and he puts the shotgun back, there would be a guy with a sandwich just waiting to grab it because there was no pouch. Gun's like, let's go, and do this, and it would just drop. And so it was just, but it was just you tap into your imagination, and it just was so much fun. And again, I was saying this earlier to some people that we never could have imagined it would become what it became. Everywhere, and you know, we've been able to travel everywhere. I was at a convention, and I loved Game of Thrones, and I got to meet Kit Harington, and I won't say it, but my line was enormous because I had never been there, and they loved Uncharted, and Kit's wasn't. And he kept coming over, and he goes, and then I thought he was going to go, who are you? And he comes over, he goes, hey, I just got to tell you, I love that game. And it's
Slight humble brag there as well. It's like, you know that Game of Thrones guy? Pfft,
no,
nothing
but
on
what's
me.
great, no, but the truth was, had started too long, and they were like, we'll get to him later. So I fed off his people. He's a great guy. But I was just happy to see that people knew. It was somewhere in Scandinavia, and I was like, "You've heard of this game?" They're like, "Yeah."
Well, you were saying earlier too. I mean, we've had opportunities to go to Jordan and do a treasure hunt press conference. It's just, I mean, it's amazing. And it was something that, you know, I don't believe, like it was a moment in time that working actors would get a chance to be a part of something that's grown into a genre that has exploded. You know, now it's full of, you know, huge name stars. And so for us to get a chance to do that has been really special.
And what was it like when the game was finally released and critics and fans just absolutely adored it? It was like I've said, the bit I love the most is little set pieces, not Nolan's acting, but like the set pieces when things were exploding. What was that like when you saw fans were just like, wow, this game is something?
I remember running to Best Buy in Santa Monica and getting the box because they weren't given to me. We had to go and buy them. But getting the PlayStation with the game and everything on it and like standing there at the register and you just want to be like, I'm in this game.
Do you know who I am?
Like but you're buying it. Because the Japanese believe you should buy your own product.
It was also a bit of a delay because from what I was told, we had to actually wait till Uncharted 2 became the hit it was because more people bought Drake's Fortune, the first game, after they had played Uncharted 2. So we did the first one, and I remember, we're going to do a second game. We're like, oh, great. And the second game won, at the time, every game award that was made. It was ridiculous. And then, you know, people go, 2? Oh, there must be another one. So they went back to play the first one, which, of course, you know, it's just different because you're supposed to play them in order. But no, I thought it was great. So 2009 was the second game. I think it's 7, 9, 11.
Yeah.
Was 11 was
the third
was when they released the third one.
11, 1, 11.
11, 1, 11.
Yeah. It's like a combination. You remember your high school combination? No, I don't.
There was also one of the other things we did. We would do other characters, because they would animate some other figure on us, so we would switch and play like guards and whatever. And one time, Nolan was playing this guy who was in 3.
I remember this.
You were going to shoot young Drake.
Hold on. Do you remember Uncharted 3 in Cartagena with the young boy, everybody? When young Nate, and then the British guy comes up, just close your eyes. That's me. And then Sully shoots me.
And then I shoot him.
Now, tell them what happened, Richard.
I shoot him. And then I'm going over to the kid to see if he's okay, and I throw the gun to the side. What I didn't realize was, I thought was clearing him. He was lying on a mat where he fell. The gun, which was plastic, fortunately, but even so, it was hard plastic, hits him right in the head.
I'm lying face down. I've been shot. And out of nowhere, I'm just listening to the lines, you know, kind of relaxing. And then it's just like somebody threw a hammer and just like, clank. And I literally just went, huh. And I didn't want to ruin the scene, but in my head, I'm going, I think I'm going to pass out. Because they were quite heavy. What they do is they'll make all the guns that we have they're like just blue or yellow or orange, like heavy plastic, but they actually make them to the same weight of whatever type of gun that is. So you're not just, like, have you ever seen a movie or a TV show where somebody picks up a suitcase, they're like, she has all these shoes, and he just picks it up easily? It's like, there's nothing in that. Or the coffee cup, you know they're not really drinking, they're like, yeah, thanks for the coffee. He threw that thing, and
But I didn't realize that it happened, and then
And everybody watching knew what happened, and they're going.
They cut the scene, and I'm just blasé. I didn't know anything, and all of a sudden everybody's running to Nolan. What happened?
All right, give me that. But the funny thing is, I think it's so funny that it's, young Nate has the gun and he takes it, give it to me. It's a very sweet moment, and he just tosses it away onto the older Nate. Smack.
Now,
And
before
by
we play...
the way, just to be clear, the room that we shot it in is as big as this. He could have thrown it anywhere. So let's think.
And we're so glad he didn't, just for this story. Now, before we move on to a game, do you have a favorite memory from filming at all?
No, oh my
No?
goodness.
Okay.
Too many.
From all four
kissing?
of them. Well, that's what I was actually just going to say, but not for the reasons you know.
No.
Honestly, I have a couple. I've said this earlier. One of my favorite moments, scene-wise, is the end of Uncharted 2, I believe, when we're talking about on the scale of 1 to 10, how afraid were you that I was going to die? You chose clowns over my death. I kept your tears in a jar
Yeah.
or a bottle, either one.
Made it all up, the two
Yeah,
of us.
all of that was improv between us, and the fact that we were allowed to keep it was incredible. And I just felt so honored that, sometimes you go to set and they're like, yeah, just do one for fun or try it. And they're like, that's great, we got it out of our system. We're not going to use that, But this actually turned into the end of the movie, or end of the game, and was so, it was so much a piece of these two characters. And then I do think the scenes that were just more, it's always fun, like, get in the car, jumping and, dropping out of planes and pretending like you're swimming and all that stuff. That's a blast. But I was always so excited, especially straight out of acting school and stuff, so excited to get to work on these scenes where there's a lot more going on for these characters. I think, the scene where they fall down the cliff and she pretends to be dead and he's all freaked out and, she comes to and she totally jokes around with him. Or the kissing scenes were funny because eventually we had these cameras on our faces and Nolan and I just weren't trying to knock into each other. But yeah, I think, getting to play Elena was like getting to be this treasure hunter, and it was a great blend of who I enjoy being, which is this action girl who can shoot and take people out. Don't be scared. And then also
We
this,
disarmed her before.
yeah, deep character work. That was just a pleasure to get to be able to do that in a video game. Was really great. I don't know if I scattershot answered your question, but
No,
I
I
can't
think that was
really
a really
sit
good
here
answer.
and say, oh, my deep scenes with Nolan were my favorite. It'll go to his head, so.
Yeah, it's going to go to his head.
Yeah.
Now, while we get set up for fan questions, I always like to play a little bit of a game during my panels. Nolan's played many of these over the years. So I thought we'd play a game called Uncharted Territory. Has anyone ever seen those geolocation games where you've got to guess where the location is? Now, I did have some maps and boards for us to play with, but I don't know where they've actually went. 2 seconds, I'll see if I can find them. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, that makes life easier.
You're bleeding. You're bleeding.
There's a map and a pen and a board. It's like I planned this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, this is fun.
I even made a nice little thing for the screen there. Doesn't that look lovely?
Can everybody sing the theme?
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, Nate.
Mine always starts going into
That was terrible. That was really bad. Okay, so there's a map there if you want to use it. But I'm going to show you a picture of a location, and I've started with an easy one, and I want you to try and guess where the location is. Okay? I've started with an easy one, don't worry. It could be anywhere in the world, yeah. Shall we load up the first image? You can play along as well, but don't help them. Here is our first image here. Now, there is a big clue somewhere in the picture. There is a big clue. My friend Ben took this photo.
Yeah, what are we doing?
You're guessing where it is.
Well, I know where that is.
Well, write it down.
Oh.
You're going to get points because, I forgot to mention, there is a prize for the winner.
Oh my gosh.
It's something an actor always wants, a Golden Globe. Golden Globe is the prize.
I sure hope I'm right. This is going to be really
Did you get a pen there?
embarrassing.
Where do you think it is? Where do I think it is? I think this is an easy one. Do we have the answer? London. Richards gave up. Yes, it is London.
Do I get
you
extra
know that?
points for saying it's Westminster?
See, that was the easy one.
Okay.
Are you ready for the next one? So you've got to try and guess where this is. So now you've got the idea.
Okay.
Where is this? Now it's an...
I got my eyes.
Oh, dear.
Can't see anything.
It's on the screen here
It's
as
right
well. if
there,
you need
Nolan. It's right there.
That's smaller.
It is.
I
I've
need
heard that
bigger
before. Where we're guessing.
No.
If you get the country, I'll let you have it.
I can't even.
Italy.
That is a big famous building in the background.
No.
It's not Italy.
Any guesses?
Italy.
It's going Italy. You're going Italy. Nolan, where are you going for?
I have a second guess, but
Or where do you
my
think in
first.
Italy it is?
oh,
I know you can say Italy's fine. I'm going to give you it.
Do you have no? Do we? That's what I'm trying to figure out. The city or
No, you can just say the country.
the city?
oh, look at me.
I just like seeing Nolan squirm.
Can't look at my answers.
It is the Vatican City in
That's
Italy.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it is. Well done. You're 2 for 2.
I've never been there.
But is Italy work or Vatican City? Because
Well, either would have worked, but you didn't put anything down. So.
Okay, good
Oh,
job,
oh,
good
you
job.
cheated. You totally
Okay.
cheated.
but Vatican City's.
Right, we'll do these. Right, if you have fan questions, you can start the line up now while we finish off this
Now I
game.
get it, now I understand.
The next one, this one should be easy.
Oh,
New
this.
York Times. I mean, Times
It's
Square
not
in
New York.
No.
It's not New York.
Okay.
Nolan's going Tokyo.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just.
You're working out how to spell Tokyo, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's what I said.
That would have been a clue, huh?
It is Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this one should be easy for Nolan. Come on for the final one. This one should be super easy.
Well, you would think.
For Nolan?
Everyone else has picked up on what this is, haven't you? Hands up if you know where this is. Nolan, you should get this.
Oh,
Okay,
I know
then
where this is.
If you're saying this, then I'm gonna say.
It looks like Old Orchard Beach in Maine, but I don't think that's right.
Well, Nolan, would you like to tell us where it is?
That's Barcelona, Spain.
And why is that?
Because that's where Nate came out of the water to meet the real Nate in the movie.
Which leads me to my final question. Would you guys be interested in making cameos in future movies?
Always. Always, always.
Would you appear in the movies if they get the chance?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That was a quick, short answer.
From your
We're
mouth
we're
to God's
actors.
ears.
Of course.
Yes.
They give you free food.
Yes.
It's called craft services. There's
yes.
nothing better than free
It's called
food.
craft
That's what it
service.
And it's great. I did-
Awesome.
It's usually out of the back of a truck. You know, you're never told to accept food out of the back of a truck as a child, and then you get paid to later on in life. It's great.
You rate jobs by the quality of the craft service.
It's true.
That was a great job. The craft
So-
service, they had everything.
Do you want to? Can I give a quick story about how great craft service can be?
Is it quick?
It's not as quick as you would like it to be.
it needs to be quick. It needs to be quick.
When I lived in a house
Oh dear, this isn't going
across.
to be quick.
Everybody see them? Remember the movie Social Network? But Facebook and all that stuff. The scenes where they rent the house and they rip down the chimney and everything was actually a neighbor across the street from me. Now I was working on a show. I think we were doing Uncharted, but every day I'd have to come home, and like Timberlake parked in front of my house, and I'd have to go into my little driveway, and I would immediately park my car, get out, and walk across the street to craft service tent, where I literally would just get a coffee. I'm like, you're in my neighborhood. It's free food. I'm an actor. I'm not in the movie, but where there's free food. And one day I was sitting there, and guy turns to me and he goes, he said, those are pretty good. Have you had those? And I said, no, but they are really good. And I said, things are going really well, aren't they? And he goes, yeah, I'm pleased. You enjoying yourself? And I'm like, yeah, it's been great. It was Aaron Sorkin. And I was just, got some of the stuff, and I have to kind of eat and watch them do it, and then slowly, like Homer Simpson, back out of and go into my house. And there was a police officer that kind of had to patrol to make sure
People like you weren't.
and he would just walk over at me. He's like, I see you.
I see you.
But then I talked to him. He knew I was an actor, but he's like,
He's
what
never
are you
cast
doing on
you
this?
though, has he?
No, this one day he looked at me and he said, who are you playing on this? I'm like, I'm not in this. And he just started howling. He said, but you've been getting, I said, yeah. And he goes, me too. So we love our free food.
That's
Or
awesome.
stolen food, as that would be.
That's true.
Yeah. Borrowed.
I've never worked for Aaron Sorkin since. Or before. So
I've auditioned for him,
huh?
and I passed on something, but it was really good.
That's because
So
no
I
food.
will give you my food ration, and you haven't stolen it now.
Oh, trust me, I took plenty of it.
Shall we jump to fan questions?
Yes.
Gentleman first there.
Testing. Hold on. Nolan, Emily, Richard, I can't thank you enough for the memories you guys created with Uncharted. It's one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. I kind of improvised. My question is, Nolan, you've done a lot of retro replay, played at the Uncharted games and such. In fact, a recent game came out called Astrobot, and you play this little robot and you rescue bots around the galaxy and celebrating PlayStation, so much so that one level you rescue a Nathan Drake bot. And
Really?
Yeah, and there's a level dedicated to Uncharted called Dude Raiding. And
That's what when they were making Uncharted, people were saying that's like Tomb Raider. It's like Dude Raider. That's
Yeah.
what Dude Raiding. So what is this game called?
Astrobot.
Astrobot.
Yeah, it's on PlayStation 5. As Nolan, you've played games. Emily, Richard, are there any PlayStation franchises you guys really enjoyed, like playing the game itself, or you know? Well, I'm in a really fun stage with my son, who's now 11, and I'm homeschooling him actually 3 days a week. And one of the carrots I dangle is if you can get through your work and we can get through it in a week, then we'll play Uncharted when your brother and sister aren't at home. So he knows Nolan very well. And when he broke his arm, he wanted Nolan to sign his cast so he could show all his friends at school that he has Nathan Drake's signature.
Yeah, but he
on
didn't
his
have the
cast.
money.
Yeah. But
Sorry, kid.
I think it's been a really fun season of life of me saying, I want to play this with you, but I also don't want you to play it a ton because it's a little different for you hearing your mom getting shot all the time. So I've actually really enjoyed going back and playing that through, and also Minecraft with my other kids. And then we always play Just Dance at home all the time, and we also play Beat Saber. So we like anything where we're getting up and moving. But yeah, the PS4 is on at our house regularly.
Richard, you look like a Beat Saber player.
I cannot play these games. I have a saying that if you're born before 1965, it's just not in the genes. I'm terrible. I don't think, which one was it where you were in a rail car, in a train car? I couldn't get out of the car.
That was 2, yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of the car. That's how bad I am. And that was the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I'm so bad I don't like to watch myself die. When my son, do you remember in Uncharted 3 when Nate would die, he'd be like, ugh, and then that music, that would echo because my oldest was playing the game. And I'm trying to work, I'm in the kitchen, and then, God damn. And it always was followed like, Nate!
How was that again?
Like, kid, no! And it got so bad.
It was never, Nate. That was not it. Try it again. No, that's not it either. No.
No, see, in my version, you're Sofia
no,
Vergara.
I meant,
You fell off the cliff so bad.
ridiculous.
It
It
got
feels
so bad
like we're
that-
in the volume right now, and this is how it was recorded.
Yeah, it got so bad that I actually drove to a store and bought him his first headphones because then it was replaced by I killed you again. So it was either send him to military school or get better at that.
Awesome. I've just realized the time, so if we can just quickly blitz through questions. So quick fire. Thank you for your question, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
So quick fire questions, just so we can get through people.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Callum. I was just wondering what your favorite lines were from the games. I've always liked "You've brought a hooker to church" from the first game.
Sweating like a hooker church. Yeah, that is one of my favorite because that was his line on the page was something like, God, it's hot. And he didn't decide not to say that. So you said,
I said, God damn, sweating like a whore in church.
in which I said, you brought a hooker to church?
Amy said, can't say whore.
Oh, that's right.
Hooker. Okay, we can use hooker. And so I said, God damn it, it's hot. I'm sweating like a hooker in church.
And that was it. Then I decided, not to be. You brought a hooker to church?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, and then I loved he was like, why not? And then it was just, it ended. And if you watch that scene again, they let it sit. They let that was great. Naughty Dog. They just let they let the joke sit long enough where Nate just goes, come on.
And that DLC will be available. No.
Uncharted 5, hookers in church.
What about your favorite lines?
Oh, very quickly. I think there's one today that I was reminded of, which was, I'm not stubborn, I'm just reckless. That's good. And then also, clowns over my death. That one.
My favorite line is not one of mine. It's hers. Uncharted 2, she meets Chloe, and she says, Elena Fisher, last year's model. That was my favorite line. I thought that was brilliant.
Brilliant. Thank you for your question there. Next.
Hello. Can I
Chloe.
have two questions?
We've got time for one because we've got a big queue behind you.
Okay, so when you consider motion capture, what was the hardest part? Like, if you remember through all the games, what was the hardest one to perform and to actually do if you have to imagine things around you and not actually having them on set?
Getting into the suit.
Yeah, and I'll echo that because we did it for 10 years, a span of time. So I was pregnant twice during that. So it was, I always say I was like the first maternity mocap girl. So we had these suits, and normally they're super tight, but when I had my belly, I would just unzip it, and I had this spandex panel, and they'd put dots everywhere except for my ballet. So trying to like run around like I wasn't pregnant was the hardest part.
I think the acting scenes, the theatrical scenes, I wouldn't say it was difficult because we had so much fun and it's what we do. But as the player character, one of the responsibilities I had to do is there were days where we weren't doing like scenes. It was Nathan Drake's, it's called set moves. So like if he's running, being shot at, now I'd have to run a bunch of times across, probably like 70 feet. And then it's a trot. Now it's under gunfire. Now there's fire. Now you're carrying this gun, doing all three of those again. Every move that you can think about, we had to do those, and you would just be. It was quite a workout. An explosion, and I would have them stand behind me, and they'd push me, like if it was in front, because you can't really fake that. So the person not wearing the suit would push. So I think just the in-game moves to make whichever Nathan Drake does, that was, it was just physically taxing. Had to stay in shape, and I didn't.
Craft service.
Okay,
Craft
next
service.
question. Thank you.
Hey, so this is a question for all three of you. Uncharted has always told fantastic stories, and as the years have gone by, like you all have kind of like those unique stories. Like Kitty Got Wet is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
After like Uncharted 4, do you feel that there's anything left for your characters to tell, like Uncharted 5 Thanksgiving special?
You know what? She can figure it out on her own. There's always great stories to tell. I get this question so much. What is Uncharted 5? You probably can't say. I would say at this point, I think Naughty Dog is just, it's Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us. That's what they want to do. Or go to a new IP. The creator was Amy Hennig, and she's now at Skydance Media. I know, brilliant, yep. She's at Skydance Media, did a great Captain America, Black Panther game. So, trying to put all those pieces together, I've heard people say Sony might want to do an Uncharted 5 but with a different developer. So you're like, okay, so there's no Naughty Dog, there's no Amy Hennig. I don't know how you do that and make it live up to what has already been created. And believe me, all three of us would love to do it. I just don't know how logistically that's done now.
You never know. I've seen Stranger Things, though, right?
It's a good
It
show.
could happen.
It's a good
It
show.
is.
What season's
Yeah,
your favorite?
I'm not playing
See
into
what I
that.
did
no.
there?
I'm just saying, I think always
fast.
they always answer to fan demand. So let them know.
I think that they should have one where they come to visit Sully in the home. And they meet all these interesting characters in the home. They drag me out, take me on an adventure. Yeah, there you go.
I think that's brilliant.
Right, I think we have time for one more question. But don't worry, guys, behind them. They're going to be at autographs all weekend, so you can go along, you can go chat to them and ask them questions. I'm sure that's okay for you guys.
We could do a lightning round if you can ask super fast.
Yes, lightning round, yes or no questions.
It's such an honor to meet Nolan, Emily, and
Quick question.
what was it like working with Troy Baker from Uncharted to The Last of Us?
Oh, it's just a horror show. Worst. You want to talk, just going through his scarves and his hats and finding your way to your own room. Oh, it's brilliant. It was great. He's a super talent, good friend, so it's like anytime you get to work with friends in this business or in any business, you're winning. So it was great.
Brilliant. Very quick. Next question. Super quick.
Hi again, Nolan.
Hello.
Who would win in a fight, Lara Croft or Nathan Drake?
Nathan Drake would beat the absolute shit out of him.
And then you tried to kiss her, probably. Next question.
Just her corpse.
Uncle Nolly and Richard, I just want to ask, what were your favorite parts of Uncharted Golden Abyss? Because it doesn't get enough love.
Ooh. What was your favorite part?
I think it was the up the creek with the paddle.
Yes, we had to do a canoe thing, and they brought in a canoe, and I remember doing that. Yeah. And it was just because we also had to do the scene, but do the mechanics of how a canoe. It was a long day.
Tedious.
It was tedious, but yes, the canoe rides with Richard. It's like being in a gondola in Venice.
Brilliant. Next question. Very quick. I'm ignoring the timer. Don't say
Hey, I
it.
love you guys. What's your favorite song, like at the current time?
My favorite song? Yeah. Oh God, you guys go.
I'm loving stuff by Northwest Stories right now, and also Josiah Queen. I'm very much into him.
Richard,
and
any favorite
Coldplay.
songs?
I don't have any favorite songs. I love everything.
Okay, let's do one more. Let's go. We're so close.
Nolan, you had your chance. Moving on. Next question.
Chris Cornell did a cover of "Nothing Compares to You" that I listen to every now and then, and it never gets old.
Brilliant. Quick.
Hi guys. So who was your favorite actor to work with on all the Uncharted games? Actors or anyone?
Nolan North.
I know. I was gonna say these guys.
Yeah, not them. Saeed Badrea.
Well, and we also really love ourselves Graham McTavish.
Yeah.
If he could be with us on everything, that would be
I think
great.
Graham McTavish. I mean, other than us, because we were together too much.
Too much.
Way too much.
Well. Because it's a well.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. Graham McTavish, but they were all great. Robin Atkin Downs, Saeed Badrea.
Claudia Black?
Claudia Black. Oh, she was in that. Claudia. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, everybody, it was always great. I mean, we didn't have any ones that we didn't like other than Claudia. And Graham, just because I know it's going to upset you, I'm kidding.
Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. Quick.
Okay, I wanted to ask, what's your, you know the live action for that starred Tom Holland? What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was great. I thought it was very difficult to get all that into 2 hours. And they may have relied a little too much on people knowing the game. So, but I think it's great. Where was Nathan Drake in his 20s? Let those big movie stars do it and fly me to Barcelona to do a cameo and I'm good.
Awesome. Game very quick.
Yeah, hi. You guys ever read the script and go, wow, this is actually really kind of too much? Like for those set pieces that...
Oh, no. Well, there was never a big script. It was always a few scenes at a time. But it was so much fun,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say? And nothing ever seemed overwhelming, did it?
No, the great thing about doing the games is we got a rehearsal day to kind of talk and everything through. And then the next day, you knew those were going to be big days. And I do remember at the end of them being really tired because it was a lot more exerting than you anticipated. But no, I think all the move sets were really tiring, doing all the physicality. But no.
Anything to add, Richard? No.
Like Nolan said, we just had these few pages of each scene, and we'd get that, and we'd rehearse it, and also when we rehearsed, I think Amy would say, you know, if you guys have any other ideas while we're doing this, even while we're shooting, just throw it out. If we like it, we'll keep it. If we don't, we'll just use our stuff.
Awesome. How many we got left? Very quick.
got 3 more.
Hi. Uncharted 4. Whose idea was to put Crash Bandicoot in the game? Because that's beautiful.
Naughty Dog.
That was Naughty Dog, yes.
Naughty Dog, and we actually watched the screen of gameplay and we just ad-lib talking.
Yes.
Brilliant. Next question.
So you guys brought these characters to life. Is there anything that you picked up from them, like any habits or just silly things like words they say?
No. We were invited to put as much of ourselves into the characters, so they stole from us, those characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think something that I've always gained from characters that get really well received, honestly, for my own self, is just confidence in that it's okay to put myself into something. I think a lot of us struggle, maybe not Nolan, maybe not Richard, but I will speak for myself, struggle with feeling like, okay, maybe some things about me are common to everyone else to share. So I think the way you guys love Elena and love who she is has really taught me to be okay with those things.
And you bring hookers to church now, right? There's a habit you picked
And you
up.
should.
Every Sunday. They expect it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last one.
Very last one. Very quick.
Hello. Oh, hi. My name's Merlin. I briefly met you, Richard. Very nice to meet you. My friend Panos, he wants to partially get into voice acting. Any advice for that, like, real quick?
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
D. Bradley Baker, a great voice actor, has a website. Sounds hokey, but this is real. I want to be a voiceactor.com. And it is, no, I know, but it's serious. And it's microphones, how to do a demo tape, how to get it to an agent. And you need to just build those things up. Classes, improv classes, which ones are credible, which aren't. It's practical advice put out there for everybody. My own son has gotten into voiceover. He said, where do I start? I'm like, and I actually gave it to him. And he went to Dee's site. And it's actually quite informative. And, and then get an agent and then just good luck. I still don't know why I am where I am, but,
I want to say thank you to all of you guys for coming all the way. Different from television, which is set up on a residual system. People coming to Comic-Con, sharing their story and supporting artists and people who do this and tell these stories. It really does mean a lot. So thank you guys for traveling all this way. And we really do appreciate you.
And more importantly, thank you guys. It's been great to have the 3 of you together. Hopefully we can get you back in the future because I still feel like we've got a lot to talk about. But we'll find you across at Overgraphs. There's photos you can buy as well. If you didn't get a chance to speak to them, please take the opportunity. You can see they're absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our amazing Uncharted cast.
Thank you.
Thank you.